So March is Social Work Awareness Month, and this year's theme is Break Barriers. And it's an opportunity to bring awareness to the profession of social work because it remains a vital but undervalued profession. And it's really interesting because we are everywhere. We work in so many capacities where community social workers, advocates, therapists, case managers, court liaisons, adoption specialists, college professors, deputy directors, councilmen, housing specialists, lawyers, nurses, doulas, right? We're everywhere. And it's awesome because, we just come from a different perspective. I think we are all about helping people overcome their challenges. And we do that in just this person-centered and empowering way. And Social Work Month is just this moment to figure out who we are and to really question who the social workers are in your life and the impact that they have on your community. My name is Amanda Fludd. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, speaker, coach, adjunct professor, entrepreneur, and the creator of this audacious project here to interview a social worker a day for 30 days. I don't know what I was thinking, but there's so many dope people out there. And, I just want to have a perspective of the profession and who we are and what we do. And today I'm joined by fellow social worker and friend, Dr. Bridgette Montgomery. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey, girl.
Hi.
Hey.
I'm so excited to have you. And we'll get right into it. So I've had everyone kick off with the theme for Social Work Month, which is break barriers. So for you, what does that mean? What does it mean to break barriers?
So thinking about breaking barriers, sticking with just the idea of just social justice, diversity, equity, inclusion, just breaking barriers for just humans of all kinds. We're there on the front lines, serving, advocating, like you said, lobbying for people, doing counseling, impacting, affecting, and changing lives. As a psychotherapist, people thinking of a social worker as a psychotherapist, here I am breaking barriers in that domain. Being a trauma disruptor.
Ooh, yes, we disrupting a lot of areas. I love it.
A lot of different ways. So just out here breaking barriers, affecting change, affecting lives, changing lives on a daily basis, one person at a time. So
yeah, I love that. And another thing I think when we think about social workers, we also don't always think about them as doctors, right? So can you tell us about why you decided to pursue that and the best way to approach it if someone else is interested in going down that
road? Well, for me, one, I'm a lifelong learner. So it was important for me to pursue my doctorate because I just feel like it's important, whatever it is that I'm going to do. I want to make sure that I have as much information as possible about whatever it is that I'm doing. So as an entrepreneur, a businesswoman, an educator, a consultant, a leader,
yes.
I have
all the things.
All of that. So I have a master's in psychology. I have a master's in education. I have a master's in social work. I have a master's in nonprofit management. And
wow, girl, you've been busy. Talk about learning. Woo!
What better way to kind of like mesh them all together and bring it all together than to get a doctorate in social work and education and leadership. So bringing that all together to kind of like finish and go forward with what it is that I'm doing. And just really, just the research aspect of that and just being able to kind of like, when I'm out there doing what it is that I'm doing and teaching what it is that I'm teaching, just to have the knowledge and the skills and the ability to do what I'm doing. So getting the information for myself, researching, applying, and then putting it out there to sending it out there to other people or sharing it with other people. See, I'm sitting here again, tongue twisted because you're recording me now. Sharing it with other people that, that I'm serving. So it's about the knowledge, the skill, and the ability, the application, the research. So that was the most important part. And so what I would say to other people before going out to apply for a doctorate degree, make sure you understand your purpose, your reason for going to, take this next level, because it is definitely a journey. You have to really know why you're going to do this, what what your purpose is, what you want to do with your degree in terms of, seeking that education, how you're going to give back to your community, or how you're going to give back to the work that it is that you're doing, or how you're going to add to the body of knowledge, or whatever from there. So for me, it was just more about knowledge, research, and being able to add to what it is that I'm already doing, and growing that aspect. So I hope that made sense, because I feel like I was just
it did. It's like you weave together like your whole life, right? But in a way that is even more empowering. It's like you took it to a whole nother level, but you were clear on what you want to do. And I feel like that's what I'm hearing. It's like you have to be clear on if this is the journey that you want to go on, and your why for that, right? And I think we all have different whys. I think sometimes, especially within our community, it's more about like a prestige, I think, or sort of the trophy on the mantle, but like finishing your career on that level. And I don't know if that's enough. It sounds like it isn't just about you and what it means to you, but it's also about what it means to our community.
Yeah, it can't be just about the prestige of carrying a couple of letters behind your name. It has to be something more, because you're going to be challenged to a different level. You're going to go in one way and you're going to come out a different person. The challenges that you're going to be faced with, and that you're going to meet going through the program, whichever program you choose, because there's so many different programs out there. But going through a doctorate program is so rigorous. The master's program, you're on your own learning. Definitely in the doctorate program, you're creating your own learning plan. So it's going to be pretty rigorous. And so the challenges that you're going to face, you're going to come out different. You might gain new friends, you might lose old friends. It's going to test your ability to see what you can handle, mentally, emotionally, professionally, because you're going to have to be able to balance and juggle, just understanding you as a person, and your temperament, and the different things that you will come up against with people in general, being able to collaboratively work with other people and share and ideas, and sometimes not share ideas, all of those different things, and what that will look like, based on, creating and writing programs, whether you want to develop a program, or start a program, or the research study that you're actually going to do. Like I created a whole program, and what would that look like, and so many different variations of, a doctorate program that you'll find yourself going through, and the tests and the trials that you'll go through just trying to get through that program. So you got to be ready for it, mentally, emotionally, physically. And I would even throw in there for some of us spiritually as well.
Right. It challenges just all these parts of who you are. Wow. My mind goes to like boot camp. It's a high intensity professional workout. But I'm glad you took on the endeavor. And one of the things I love is just how visible that you've been, and kind of sharing some of your journey with that. I think it's encouraging. Even if you don't take the path, it's always encouraging to see folks who look like us or look like you doing something exceptional. It's empowering in itself. So even if folks never go that route, to just know that folks like you are out here doing it, it's absolutely encouraging. So I do want to bounce that back as an acknowledgement and a thank you.
And it's exciting too, and I look forward to seeing us out there every time, and I mean, even before, my journey, just every time I ran into, a sister or brother, and got to say doctor, it was just really exciting, and it just kept me encouraged, let me know that I can do this. And so I wouldn't discourage anyone from doing it, but I would encourage anyone that is thinking about doing it. Make sure that this is something that you really want to do, and go forward with it, and don't let anything or anyone get in the way of making you stop or quit. Once you go through that door and you say, I'm going to do it, see your way through.
Who?
Stop.
Yes, yes, we're waiting for you on the other side. Okay, finish the sentence for me. I wish people understood social workers, dot, dot, dot.
Was not just clipboard carrying,
Ooh.
face looking, baby snatchers.
Mm.
No, Hollywood. I mean, when I was growing up, I remember seeing social workers on TV. It seemed like they were only those mean ladies who
Like
went in and
ragged too, not even cute.
yeah, snatching kids up out of the house,
Right,
or you had to be afraid of social work. That is not who we are. And
Mm-hmm.
even still today, people have this misconception
That's true.
of who we are as social workers, and I am not knocking case managers, and they keep us at this
That level,
basic level of
right? That's all
being
we
a
do.
case manager. And listen,
Mm-hmm.
I do not knock my experience of being a case manager for anything at all. And I
It's a
will not
beautiful thing.
erase that.
Right,
Yes,
because you learn a lot about
we
different
learn a lot.
these different services, and really, it's still a lot of skill, like
It's a
connecting
lot of skill.
people, working with a variety of people, working with people like at their worst sometimes, and navigating that and getting them somewhere. So it's an amazing position, and if anything, it's still highly
Relevant,
undervalued. Yeah,
extremely relevant.
right, because they probably need to be paid a whole lot for what they have to do, right? And the caseloads are like freaking ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
But you're right. They only see us like at that level, like we only do that.
Like that's all we do. And that's not all we do. And I don't want people to see that as who we are and then diminish our profession as being just that and say, I don't want to be no social worker. Whoa, wait, whoa, I'm a social worker.
Right. Right.
I'm a social worker, and I'm a proud social worker, and I love being a social worker. As a matter of fact, when I show up in the schools and represent my clients as their social worker, they hate seeing me coming because I'm showing up as the social worker, not as the therapist, but as the social worker. And the social worker got a lot of resources. The social worker have a lot of knowledge. The social worker know what's going on because this social worker has a master's in special education, and this social worker know how to work the IEP. So watch out.
Okay. All right. Listen.
Social worker coming through, and this social worker going to do some things, and this social worker can connect you with some resources that you might need, and you might need to know, and all kinds of stuff. So when I'm coming through, they're like, "Oh, Dr. Montgomery, what is she about to do?" That's right. I'm the social worker. So, but I'm also the therapist that can work through some things, that could counsel you through some things, that can disrupt that trauma that you've been dealing with for so long and help set you free. So let me hush because
Social workers like to talk, y'all. But it's such like meaningful and powerful things, right? And I love it because we're not just this like one thing, and we can do so much. And again, all the reasons why we should recognize and celebrate social workers. And again, your work is an example of that. And I have to say too, like we met at a social work event. It was a social work retreat for therapists. Oh my goodness, blank on the name for a second, but Therapy for Black Girls. And it was a few years ago, and we actually bonded over cornbread, y'all. The best connection ever. And I think that's the thing with social workers, like we can just connect with other people, even with folks that others may find the most difficult to work with. Like we just find the value in people, and we're willing to go the bat, which is exceptional for this field. I can't speak to anybody else, but just being a social worker, I know like that's just phenomenal in itself. And the other part I love about us is like we're so diverse. Like when we met at that retreat, it was all about looking at how we can do so much more besides the typical of being that clipboard carrier, right? And it was about stepping out of these traditional roles, right? Wait, what'd you do with your clipboard?
I never had one.
I had too many papers for my clipboard. Always something to do. But like our feel and our skills, like it's transferable, so we can be social workers, we can be therapists, we can be entrepreneurs, and in all of that we can show up as our best selves. And I think that's what's phenomenal. And I really want to make sure that we pause to acknowledge all of your roles as well, right? So is there anything else on your plate besides psychotherapist and doctor and social worker?
I don't know. I mean, same, pretty much a lot of the same things you do. You know,
Yeah.
I teach. I do. What do you call that? I have a tutoring program for the LCSW and LSW test prep program. Been doing that for a while.
Which is so valuable because it's not about who you are as a social worker, really, and we get caught up in that. It's just about like your ability to take the test. Would you say?
Yeah, yeah. I agree. It's not about who you are, it's about your ability to just go and take the test. And all the I don't want to get into that, but
that's gonna be another episode.
That's a whole another episode. I do supervision as well. I do a whole lot of motivational speaking and trainings and different things like that. So right now I'm working on a couple of projects across Philadelphia, specifically speaking to trauma. And it just popped in my head. Working with a program, Talk Out Loud, Ghetto Grit, working with gun violence, and another initiative with Philly Jones, and that's really great. And then another one, there's about three of them, three different programs that I'm working with right now, centered on trauma. So looking forward to all the great things that are taking place and happening in the city, and trying to give back in that way.
Yeah. Oh, it's just so amazing. And it again just speaks to this wide range of how we can show up in the different ways that we can work, especially when we find parts of the work that we love, right? If it's trauma work or, whatever else speaks to you. But either way, it's just needed in the community. So Bridgette, thank you again. Thank you for your time. Thank you for enlightening us today. We salute you and the work that you do to elevate the profession, girl.
Thank you. I appreciate everything that you're doing, and I'm so proud of you, and keep doing the great work that you're doing, and keep inspiring and helping other social workers and professionals become their best selves, and just keep doing the great work that they're doing. So thank you so much.
Oh, absolutely. So to everyone in the profession, we see you, we thank you. Happy Social Work Month for those of you, supporting social workers, like this, share this, tell them how much you appreciate them, and keep pushing for us to be on equal planes as everyone else in the profession. Happy Social Work Month.
Happy Social Work Month. Thank you.